Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Shadowcrone here from the Gamers Guild, giving you a World of Warcraft point of view for Protection Paladins. In 4.0 there was a lot of changes, so let's get started. I'm currently in my secondary spec, which I have nothing in there, so we can easily go through the talent trees. We'll start with the basics. As you notice, when you get to there's 3 trees. Protection is my main spec, so we'll go with that. You'll start with Avenger Shield, Touched by the Light, which is they revamped Touched by the Light. Still about the same, but it gives you your spell hit and stamina now. Vengeance, which we'll go into in a minute. Judgment of the Wise, which used to be a talent in the Retribution trees, now they get, when they pick in red, they get Judgment of the Bold. We get Wise, and Divine Bulwark, which is our Mastery. I'm going to get into Mastery later on. But for now, let's go into view talents and pick protection. And some of these talents are obvious and some of them are not, but we'll go with the basics. For now, must is Seals of Pure, increase 12% damage on your Seal of Truth, Righteousness, and Justice. Divinity, which will increase healing done by you and to you by 6%. Really help the healers out. Toughness, obvious choice. Judgment of the Just, which is attack speed reduction. Great. C. Hollowed Ground. I see a lot of people with specs that don't pick Hollowed Ground. Personally, I do it in case of if I have to do AoE. It's great, and even in single target. You will still be using it a little, not as often, but you will still want this. Increases consecration by 40% and mana reduction by 80%. Really great. Sanctuary. This is a must. It is your def cap talent, since they got rid of defense in the gear. So you take them in there. It still gives you your mana, so it's really great, and reduces all damage taken by 10%. So it's a good thing. Hammer Righteous, I'll get into that for AoE rotation. Wrath of Lightbringer, must. Increases your damage by your Crusader Strike and Judgment by 60%. That's a big deal. And your Holy Wrath critical strike is increased by 30%. And Hammer of Wrath as well. Reckoning is actually a worthwhile talent now. 20% chance after blocking an attack to get an extra attack. It's still worthwhile. Shield of Righteous, I'll go over the changes in a minute. Grand Crusader, you got a 20% chance of refreshing your Avenger's Shield. It's really great. When I go into the rotation, I will explain to you why. Vindication will be the version of Demoralizing Shout debuff. Holy Shield has its change, but I'll go into that in the rotation. Divine Guardian I will also go into in a minute. Sacred Duty, yes. And let's see, Shield of Templar. Sure, why not? And then you get into our Defender. So you got 4 talent points left. 3 must go into Crusade. Increases the damage Crusader Strike, Hammer Righteous, and Templar's Verdict by 30% in all damage and healing of your Holy Shock by 30%. I don't have Holy Shock, but I do use Crusader Strike and Hammer Righteous, so that's great. Not sure if it will stack, but I think it does. So you got 1 talent point left. I pick Guarded by the Light because even though it's not a necessary, you're not going to be using Ward of Glory on yourself as much. It is a just-in-case ability. So you got that. So we'll swap over to my main spec because that's the spec I'm rolling with. Get some mana. Things that you need to know. Holy Shield is not an ability now that you have to activate it by using your Holy Power. What your Holy Power using abilities, which your main one is your Shield of Righteous, which is great, and your where is it? And your Word of Glory, since I put 1 talent point in there. and those get stronger by your holy power generation. You have two abilities that will generate you holy power. One is your Crusader Strike, which used to be a red tree exclusive. They moved it in there because on leveling, if I had this when I was leveling, this would have made it so much easier. I leveled prot too. What was it? Oh yeah, Judgment, Consecration, and then wait for it to refresh. This makes it really easy. Your Crusader Strike is your, for single target anyways, is your main holy power generation, and your other one is your Hammer of Righteous. They do share the same cooldown, so don't think you can just sneak that in there. No, they share the same cooldown. So, and you don't want to use Hammer of Righteous. It's not a great thing for single target. It's only great for AoE. Divine Guardian has changed. It used to be Divine Sacrifice. Now it's Divine Guardian. A lot of people on a lot of trees I see, they on Elitist Jerks and Main Tankin, and they don't pick that talent. There's a debate on there, but I think having a 20% reduction on the raid only is a great thing to help, especially like Margar, Heroic Mode and stuff. It is a great talent. And I'm not the best at it, but I do double check with Elitist Jerks and Main Tankin. So if you don't like what I'm on the spec choice, you don't have to. This is just my personal opinion on spec. And glyphs as well. The good news about Divine Guardian is you don't get the backlash damage. What else are we gonna go? Judgment has also had a change. There's no 3 different judgments anymore. There is just one judgment. And it's really key. And it's really great for red and prot and even holy. But for now, we'll go with this. So, starting out, your buffs are going to go as followed. And random Blood Elf walk by me. We'll put Righteous Fury on there. Seal of Truth is a must. And we'll go into, that is your main seal for tanking anyways. We'll go into the glyphs right now. You got, right now for the glyphs, for Prime, I have Seal of Truth at 10% 10 expertise is always great. Hammer and Shield. In case of AoE, I get an extra AoE for my main AoE hitting ability. For my Holy Power anyways, will be increased by 10%. Both Holy and Physical. And the damage of my shield is increased by 10%. So they will stack. My minors, my majors are Holy Wrath. This one is actually mainly going to be for Cataclysm. I didn't have that many glyphs to choose from, so I just went with this. And it will stun Elementals and Dragonkin. Consecration, there's still a debate on this, but I just picked it anyways because I didn't have much to go with. But just increase the duration and cooldown of Consecration by 20%, so it will stay up longer. And Ascetic Crusader, it just reduces the mana cost of Crusader Strike by 30%. Not bad. And minors you can do whatever you want. Seal of Truth, Kings, and Lay on Hands. And we'll go over to majors because I usually swap them out depending on if I'm the main tank or off tank or if I have ads. Right now you have to switch from is Focus Shield. Your Vendor Shield now only hits one target, but it's increased by 30%. Really great for a single target. And I will usually also swap it with, here it is, Divine Protection, depending on what comes up. Removes the physical damage reduction of your Divine Protection by increasing the magical damage reduction by 20%. It's really great if you're dealing with like dragons with their major breath weapon mechanics, like Syndragosa. It's really good. So you could swap those out. Those are the two that actually I do agree with what Main Tankin suggests for your majors. And the great thing about your glyph system is you can change them as long as you have Vanishing Powder. So we got the spec down, and let's put up Devotion Aura. One change I will note. Kings does share with, it does not stack with the Mark of the Wild anymore. Sad but true. So if you got Kings, Druids don't need to buff. But if you got a Druid and they buff, you don't need to put Kings. The other buff you can put, which is Blessing of Might, because it's now combined with Wisdom. So you can put that in there as well. So those are the two buffs. Great, we don't have 30,000 buffs we have to manage with. So I'm just going to buff myself up with Kings. Oh, yeah, I was going to talk about Vengeance. Vengeance. It's a great mechanic. The reason why Blizzard put it in there because of this scaling with gear. The DPS would always be able to, and it was always a case, like especially in Wrath at the tier 10 component levels, the DPS, the better gear they got, the more threat they would generate, and protection, we didn't have much, and also the bosses would be hitting us more. Vengeance is a great way because the higher the gear, so the more gear, better gear we get, the more health we got. But also the harder the bosses will hit. This will actually give you a good chance because the more the boss damages you, up to 10% of your health will be converted into attack power. It's a really great bonus, especially since Cataclysm, your tanks are going to be hitting over 100,000 health easily. 100,000, that's 10,000 attack power. That's a great threat boost, but you can't rely on Vengeance all the time, so hopefully you know what you're doing. And we'll go start off. Ardent Defender is now not an instant give of where you actually have to activate it. I do understand this change as well. So it's basically the same. Reduces damage taken by 20%, and that would otherwise kill me. It heals me for 15%, which is really good. And we'll go start with the single target rotation. I'm not going to do much, but we'll just go into the opening of the rotations I always do. So, Heroic Chaining Dummy. I will normally start off with an Avenger's Shield, Judgment, Crusader Strike straight into Shield. Why? You will have your Holy Shield. Your Holy Shield will activate once you use that, or if you use Word of Glory. So we'll stop that and let all the stuff run out. And that's the beginning of the rotation. Same with AoE. On AoE, we'll start with Avenger Shield, Hammer, straight into Shield. And that little glyph means that little icon that pops up, that just refreshes your Avenger Shield. And I said it's a great thing. So rule of thumb, keep Avenger Shield off cooldown at all times. And we'll start off with that. And that's the basics. So for boss pulls, I will normally do, because I want to make sure I have the best lead. Now your DPS knows they can't just go all out DPS. They have to give you at least 2 seconds, which is a good thing. It brings it back to Burning Crusade and Vanilla. I'd never played in Vanilla, but I did start in Burning Crusade. So beginning up, we'll start with the Heroic Chaining Dummy. Wings, Shield, Judgment, Crusader Strike, Strange Shield, and then Hammer of Wrath, Holy Wrath, I mean. See? You just keep it up. It's now priority based, you'll keep it up, and just keep going. And just do a couple rotations. And that's it. And that's usually what I'll use for. And if you did notice, I did use wings, and I did not trigger a forbearance. They did change that back, and I'm happy about that. So these are the Paladin changes. Any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down below. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.